Hello, welcome back to Sapling Tarot. My name is Imogen. Today I'm going to be doing the Let's Be Tarot Friends tag. I'm going to, for visual interest, be flicking through my February decks and my March decks. There's quite a theme shift. So this is the Goddess of Love Tarot by Gabriella Herstick, kept in this amazing Kelly Bear pouch. This is the Oracle of Roses by Sherilyn Darcy. This is the Thoth Tarot, and this is the Citadel Oracle by Fez Inkwright. So I'm just going to kind of flick through them as I talk so that you have something to look at, or by all means listen to it podcast style. Okay, so these are 21 questions by Tarot is Magic here on YouTube. I will of course link the original video below, and let's get into it. Okay, what type of art are you looking for in a deck? And straight off the bat, I'm going in with not a particularly straightforward answer. I've seen the what's my tarot aesthetic tag go around before, and I think about it pretty constantly. And maybe you'll be able to tell me better than I can because you may have seen previous videos of mine, or you may know me personally. I don't know what kind of art I look for in a deck. I would say, generally speaking, I don't go for much that's kind of in the way of photorealistic. So I can probably more easily tell you what I don't go for than what I do go for. I don't love photos. I don't love stuff that's like super modern or kind of contemporary, or sort of like trying to bring tarot up to date in a way where it's like motorbikes and mobile phones. Absolutely, the artwork that I am looking for is stuff that either brings something new to the tarot, or as in like another layer of interest and knowledge, or things that bring stuff that has historically been missing from tarot, which is things like body diversity, skin color diversity, gender diversity, kind of sexual orientation diversity, any of that kind of stuff is like generally things that I'm after. I like colourful decks. I don't really have any black and white ones apart from the Citadel. I quite like things that are quite painterly, or I love collage decks. I don't have a bunch. I just really like that kind of style of artwork. I'm a big fan of like Dadaism, kind of surrealism in art anyway, and so to bring that into tarot through collage decks. I mean, this is kind of a collage deck, the Goddess of Love Tarot. Yeah, basically I don't have an answer. So those are some things that I like to look for in a deck. So it's colour and bringing something new, like another layer of something. What do you search for in a deck? So yeah, I'm a sucker for beautiful artwork. That I generally only try to only buy decks that bring another, I've already said this, like bring an extra level of information or something to layer into the tarot, rather than just kind of beauty for beauty's sake. What deck are you most intrigued by right now, and why? I've really loved working with the Goddess of Love Tarot. even though I've been working with it for a solid month of this being my like primary deck, I still don't feel like I've got to grips with all of the stuff that the creator has layered into it. I think it's really beautiful, and I really like the art style and stuff, but the love and sexuality lens that the deck is created through, yeah, I've definitely barely scratched the surface with that. And then I'm looking forward to using the Thoth for March. It's not a deck that I'm like super confident with particularly. It was a deck that I didn't think I would pick up for a really long time because Crowley, but the artwork is so interesting, and while I don't think I would necessarily ever use it for client readings or for reading for anyone else, I'm really excited to get to grips with some of the knowledge embedded in it. Okay, is there a deck you always check out first and why? So last week or the week before last, I posted Sylvia Tarot Magpie's tarot tag, which is the deck vibe check. And while I was filming that, I realised that the card that I have like the strongest feelings about is apparently the Nine of Swords, because I don't think there are many like totally deal breaker cards out there, but, or you know, any card can be a deal breaker card if it's depicted in a way that I find really objectionable. But the Nine of Swords is one that I feel quite passionately about. If there's one card in the deck that you really don't like, would you want to miss out on it? I try to be a bigger person than that and to be a grown-up. But no, I mean, I can't. Even if I have it in my collection, I'll just end up avoiding it. And so there's really no point in me having it. Whenever that has happened, I've like immediately given it away. There are a couple of decks that like I more broadly don't get on with that I've held on to try and like work through it. But sometimes if I really hate a card, then that is really going to fuck with a reading, quite frankly. I showed in the deck vibe check video that I was just talking about, I showed the Rebirth card from the Witch's Wisdom tarot, which was tarot I was really excited to use, but I just couldn't deal with that card at all, so I had to give it away. So if there was one card in the deck you really don't like, would you want to miss out on it? Yeah, I would. I'm petty. What is your least fave card in tarot and why? So I don't really have a favourite, I don't think. And I also don't really have a least favourite card, but it is becoming a bit of a running theme that I seem to really have beef with Wheel of Fortune. So that will be my answer for that. What do people close to you feel about tarot and you doing tarot? Everyone I've told has generally been really nice about it, and like nicer than I expected. I don't know many really kind of magic-y, spiritually kind of people, so it's always a surprise when people are just generally really supportive. I've again mentioned this in like a previous video, I think, but I have a really bad habit of being quite self-deprecating about tarot and being like, oh, you know, it's like it's fine if you know you're not into it. I know that there's every possibility that like it's bollocks or whatever, and I really need to stop doing that because it's like undervaluing something that I find so much value in, and also, I mean, I think it makes me sound like a knob, and I think it stops people from like getting into it with me, which I think is sad. Yeah. Anyway, I sound like a knob, and it like devalues something that really matters to me, and I think it's basically like I'm trying to get out ahead of someone being critical of it. But then people generally haven't been critical of it, so I just sound silly, and I think I should be okay with saying that I believe in something, because I do. And so yeah, I need to get better at that. How do you feel about esoteric stuff in tarot? I really enjoy astrology and numerology and color associations and like herbal correspondences, and it's one of my favorite things about tarot is that it's just never ending. Like there's so much to work with. I generally don't fuck with like stuff that feels like it comes from other cultures. It was maybe like poached by Crowley and Golden Dawn and stuff. Like I tend to sort of try and stay away from that. Or if I feel like I really need to learn about it, I learn about it like completely privately, and I don't like talk about it because it's not like my stuff. So Smith-Waite, Thoth, Marseille, and why. I'm primarily a Smith-Waite person. It's kind of the system I learned with, but I've been getting really into working with pip decks, and like I mentioned at the beginning, I'm like slowly coming around to working with the Thoth, because loads of people that I really respect work with the Thoth deck. So I'm, stopping being a stubborn little menace, and I'm just, getting into it. I mean, look at that. How can you? I mean, my copy is a little bit shit, but it's like, yeah. I didn't really get the Thoth artwork to begin with, because some of them I think are really ugly, but some of them are really beautiful. What's your thoughts on cardstock? Okay, so I'm not as much of a connoisseur as many of the people on TarotTube, and as you will have seen in previous videos, I am a crap shuffler. Shuffler. I do think it matters for the enjoyment of a deck. So, like, this is quite a good example. I would say that this is not a great kind of cardstock. It's so stiff. So this is like half the deck or something, and you can't bend it. It's just like, it feels like if you bend it, you're gonna really like fuck it up forever. Whereas this weirdly is like probably it's not quite as bendy as I would like it, but I quite like just normal playing card stock. But yeah, I'm no connoisseur. I think like size and shape is more important to me. So like this is a bit long for me, so I've ended up like bowing the cards already, even though I'm not a riffle shuffler. It's just by the nature of me trying to have them in my hands, the cards bend. So yeah, so like the Citadel is a perfect size and shape. I like the size of this Thoth deck that I have. So yeah, bags or boxes. Boxes. I keep things generally as they come. I don't have the like wild collections that some people do, where maybe that would be too bulky. I do have the pouch that I showed you at the beginning from Kelly, and I love it so much, and I want like all the colours, and I want one for every deck. And I've seen that other people make pouches as well, and I can absolutely see myself getting into that, or even making my own, but for the time being, boxes. How did I learn tarot or get into it? I definitely talked about this in videos before. I had a reading from a family friend and loved it, thought it was fascinating, and then asked for the deck that she used for a birthday, I think, and like never really looked back. I've used it on and off over the years. I like really dedicated myself to it maybe like only 3 years ago, but I've been using it for like 15 years maybe. Best news in tarot world you heard lately. I'm not really super plugged into tarot news, so I don't have any. I'm really sorry. How many decks are on your to get list? So I don't have a definite to get list. I have a wish list which is constantly evolving, and that's probably got about 30 decks on it at the moment. If you could only keep 3 decks, which ones would you choose and why? You can't make me. You will pry them out of my cold dead hands. And you also can't hold me to any answer I give now. But I'd probably just pick the decks that I'd struggle to get hold of again, either because of money or like access in terms of like where they've come from. So most of the more expensive decks I've bought as seconds or secondhand. So like either damaged copies or copies that have previously been owned. So I'd probably go for the Spacious Tarot, preferably with the expansion pack, but we're not counting that as a separate deck. The Ritual Tarot and Terra Volatile, because I'd really hate to buy any of those full price. How does knowing tarot influence your everyday? Yeah, I've mentioned it before, and like I don't want to bang on about it because I feel like I do, but it gets into like everything. So I think particularly being neurodivergent, I find the world very confusing, and so seeing things through a tarot lens helps make things make more sense. Helps me relate to people and like keeps me in tune with the rhythms and the cycles of the world, and it's done quite a lot for like my mental health in terms of seeing the big cycles and the little cycles and everything. If you could turn back time, would you have learned tarot any other way? No, I don't think so. I maybe would have picked up like a classic deck a bit sooner, but yeah, I mean, I feel very kind of loose and relaxed about my tarot practice. And so kind of I'm happy with where I am, and I don't kind of wish anything was different about it. What are your thoughts on the Three of Swords? Love it. Think it's great. I think, like with lots of cards, the Tower of the Divine gave me like another way to look at it, in terms of it being like something you have control of, so not necessarily something that's being done to you, but maybe something you're doing to yourself. And so I find a lot more like autonomy in it now. And then it's like, are you like betraying yourself and like clipping your own wings, and are you doing what are you doing to like try and make yourself fit in? And that's pretty relatable. So yeah. How many decks do you have right now? I'm a bit cagey about that. Like yeah, I feel super awkward admitting that. I'm sure if you went through my videos you could like add them up. But yeah, weirdly I'm not comfortable counting them. I have a database of the decks that I have, and like, given away or sold or whatever. But yeah, I don't know why I'm like not comfortable sharing that information. If you could befriend one person on TarotTube or in the tarot world, who would it be? Everyone. Everyone in this community. I am the kind of person where it's like my flavour of social awkwardness is I was like so used to not having any friends for a really long time. Well, no, that's not strictly true. But struggling to make friends. So now if we have one interaction, I've decided we're friends. So if you're watching this, we're friends. If I respond to your video or a comment on your video, we're friends now. Yeah, there's loads of people that I really like and really respect in the community that I would love to be friends with. But because of my state of mind, we are already, in fact, friends. So yeah. And also, just on that, if you're ever feeling like you don't have any friends or whatever, remember the like gap, and people generally always like you more than you think they do. So I'm leaning all the way into that and assuming that you all want to be my friends. So yeah. And then final question, what is your favourite part of the day to do tarot? Whenever it occurs to me. I have tried so many versions of, oh look, there we go, Three of Swords. I've tried so many versions of like daily routines and weekly routines and whatever. It doesn't work for me. So it's literally just whenever I pick up a deck, and that could be like once a day, 5 times a day, 10 times a day, or going like well over a week without picking up a deck. So this means we're tarot friends now. I hope you're cool with that. If you've not done this tag, I tag you, and you have to do it because we're friends now. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this slightly quicker video than usual. I hope you're taking really good care of yourself, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.